Hey boys, welcome back to some more NRL SUPERCOACH 2022, where we're gonna be continuing our positional discussions, talking about all the players I find of note. These go on for quite a bit. I just love rambling on about the players, honestly. And these are a little bit shorter because we've got did the halfbacks last week, or not last week, last episode, and the 5'8's this episode. So there'll be a couple of double ups, and a couple of not as many choices, as I just bumped the microphone, but not as many choices to choose from, but it's still a very important position. Because it's gone to, I think the last year especially, the halves were, they were, well, I'm trying to think how many of them would have been in the top echelon. I mean, Cody Walker for sure. Let's have a look at the 2021 points. Adam Dewey, maybe. Matt Burton, Munster, Scott Drinkwater. That's crazy. That is crazy. The Drinkwater, I guess he just played more games. Like, his averages, it's okay. I'm shocked that he averaged 54, Drinkwater. I'm definitely not keen on Drinkwater at all. But I guess the 5'8's aren't that relevant. Probably the halfbacks more so. Cody Walker, top. The way he was an absolute gun. He's out to like mid-season, so put a line through him. Cody Walker, I'm gonna put a line through him straight away. One, he's too expensive. He's coming off like his probably, I'm pretty sure his best season in SUPERCOACH and probably NRL. The last couple of years he's been very, very good. But SUPERCOACH wise, he was huge last year. So that's one reason. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be bad, but then there's the factor of, no Wayne Bennett, no Reynolds, couple of other players lost. Latrell Mitchell gone for couple of, how many, he's gone for like 2 or 3 matches to start the year. So I just, I think Walker can still find a way. Like, I don't think it matters too much as long as their forward pack goes forward and Cody Walker has some room to move. He's gonna score well. He's just very, very good. Don't like him. don't like him too much, but I like him as a footy player. But I can't go there. I just think he's overpriced, and it's just a lot up in the air at the Rabbitohs this year to at least to start the year. To see how they go. So I think the price is just a little bit risky to pay up front. Like I said, the way he gone, Munster is again. He's like freaking Grant, Smith and Munster. They're versing the freaking Tigers, and all, 3 of their best players are missing for round 1. So the Tigers are very lucky. Let's just say that. But yeah, this makes it very difficult because you'd love to start with Munster. Average 75, just very consistent. He has very good base stats. Makes a lot of tackles, makes a lot of runs, and he has that upside. He's playing in still a very strong Storm team, and he just gets a lot of stats all around the ground. He's probably not a guy as much as like Walker to go big scores, and even like as the halfbacks, like a Cleary. He's more always around that sort of, the average he gets is sort of his sort of low and high. Like he doesn't really deviate from that too much, which is nice. It's very good. It probably limits his sort of like captaincy potential as like a top echelon player, I would say, I was going to say unless they're versing a bad team, but actually from like anecdotal evidence, I feel like he actually scores sometimes poorer against the worst teams. I'm sure he's had some amazing games against the bad teams, but I actually feel like some of the big games he stands up better. But Munster, I don't know. It's hard. I guess the thing is, if I'm going, so at the moment I've got Grant in the team, and obviously he's missing round 1. Obviously I think if you're going Grant, you shouldn't go Munster as well. I mean, just, the first round of the season isn't going to make or break your whole season, but you do want to start off well, and I think having two top line echelon players not playing in round one, it's a pretty big downgrade, I would say. But Munster, I am tempted not to start with Grant, and if I didn't start with Grant, I probably would start with Munster potentially. Because I think Munster is in for a massive year. Supercoach wise, he was still, like I said, he was still ever consistent, but probably in real life NRL, he was still good. I think people were a little bit critical of him. I think he still had a good season, but he wasn't at his best. And during the off season, you can read into it as much as you want, but he's off the booze. He's not gambling apparently. So I think he's in for a big season. I think he probably realizes that the Storm not necessarily are on the decline. I think they are slightly, but I think he probably realizes the window for Storm premierships is probably, it's probably closing slightly. So I think he's a smart guy. Like he'll know he wants to play his best season this year and try to get one, maybe one final premiership for a while potentially. So I think he's in for a big year. So that's why I'm very tempted with Munster, even at that price. Like I think he will be. I'm calling it now. I think he'll be the top scoring 5'8" this year. Obviously Origin is annoying as well, but yeah, I think he's in for a big season. Matt Burton, 10% of people are going Burton, which is, I mean, his price is pretty good for the average he got last year and the potential of him, but I couldn't go Burton. Like, he's going to the Dogs, which, again, we talked about the Dogs a lot. They have signed a lot of decent players, a lot of very good players, but they're very untested at the Dogs, and I know the Gus Gould factor, but well, we'll see. He's been to a couple other clubs, in the last few years, and you don't really hear too much about that anymore. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Gus has really turned the Doggies around. I know all the Doggies fans are thinking so, but I think we got to wait until they actually play a season. And then also in the halves, like I think he will be very good at 5'8", but he's playing with I don't know who his halves partner is going to be, but it's not going to be an incredible halfback. He's going to be the star of the show, and that could be good, it could be bad. It could be good because he'll probably feel the need to take a lot of the game on and potentially do a lot more Supercoach wise, but it could be bad as well because, is he up to it? Is he up to sort of carrying that Bulldogs attack? Time will tell, but I'm not really keen on him at all. We'll see though. If start of the season he's absolutely on fire, then he's pretty cheap to get. Brimson at 533. I love Brimson. Not tempted though. His average of 60 was at fullback, and I think fullback is genuinely a bit of a higher scoring position than 5'8". So I think Brimson will be pretty solid, but I don't see him averaging 60 this year. The next guy off the list is Josh Shustra, and I'm locking him straight in. He's been my sort of lock-in 5'8" from the start, and I haven't really... I say I haven't swayed on it, but I mean, for one, I'm very tempted by Munster. No one else at the moment. The next guy I'm very tempted by is actually Jerome Lewis. Now, it depends. If Cleary plays round one, then I'm very, very tempted with Lewis. I just feel that he finished the season. I mean, I know they won the comp, but Lewis didn't really do much in the back end of the season. Like, the Panthers weren't really scoring many tries. They weren't that that convincing, even in the finals. I mean, again, I know they won the grand final, but they I don't know, their attack just wasn't as fluid. Like, they just, they grinded out a lot of wins. And Luai, yeah, he just sort of fell away at the end of the season. I feel like he's gonna start very, very strongly, but it all depends on if Cleary plays. If Cleary misses, because apparently he might miss a couple of rounds, so that puts a line through Luai. But I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted to go with Luai. A bit of an out, Well, 6% of people have him, so he's not a super pod, but a bit of out of left field pick up there potentially. And I am half tempted to maybe go 2 sort of gun 5'8's, because I haven't gone too expensive in the halves at the moment. So we'll see how the numbers play up, see where I stand, and potentially I could go, 2 sort of gun 5'8's maybe, or, at least sort of high mid-range players like Luai and Shustra. Who else? Actually, no, the next guy here, I'm very... honestly, the 5'8's have got me a little bit stumped, because I'm 2 guys here, Dylan Brown and Shaun Johnson. 21% of people have Shaun Johnson. Now, you could get him at halfback or 5'8". I am very keen on Luke Keary, and I think I'm just going to stick with Keary. I know a lot of people are going him, but I feel like the Roosters are going to score some big points, and Keary's going to have a hand in most of them. So I just feel like you got to lock him in. Shaun Johnson, I love Shaun Johnson, and I feel like he was great at the Sharks. The injuries are a concern. He should be I don't know. Reece Walsh is apparently, I don't know, he's out for the very start of the season, I think, Walsh. But even still, if Johnson is fit, Johnson is a far better goal kicker than Walsh. I would be shocked if Johnson wasn't goal kicking for the Warriors, unless he had a niggle, and he didn't want to tempt fate by goal kicking. But he's a very, very good goal kicker, so I think he should be goal kicking. And at 462, he's very tempting. And then the next man here, Dylan Brown, he's 2% owned, which is nice. He's 466, which is nice, pretty cheap. He had a shocking season, and he still averaged over 50, just over 50, mostly in base stats. He probably, I would say, arguably the best 5'8" defender in the comp. I'm saying it now, the best one-on-one defender at 5'8". He is very, very strong, makes a lot of tackles, takes the line on a lot, but he didn't have any try, very, very few tries all of last year. I don't know, he just didn't have a good year. I don't know what was going on with him. And I think he's in for a big bounce back. So I'm extremely keen on Dylan Brown, and I got to be honest, out of these two, I think if I was going to go one of these two, I'm probably going to go Brown, just for the fact he's 2% owned and Shaun Johnson is 21. And I don't think Johnson is going to be banging out hundreds every week, so it's not really going to, if he does score a few more than Brown, it's not going to absolutely ruin my super coach. But I feel like the potential for Brown to go big and Johnson not to go so much is a good little trade-off. But it's a tough call. There's a lot of options as we go down the list here. No one else really jumping out at me. Young guy here, Jaden Sullivan, good player. Potentially might get that starting spot, I think, but a little bit expensive. Kurt Mann, I'll talk about him in the center wing, because I'm not going to pick him up at 5'8", but I am very keen on him at the center wing, pending team selections. We go down. Okay, so Jackson Hastings, very, very popular at 31%. Everybody's keen on Hastings, and I do see the appeal somewhat. I don't know. I'm a little bit shocked so many people are going him. I mean, he's been really good in Super League. And he should. I'm assuming he'll goal kick with Dwayne out for middle of the season, so that is nice. But they are the Tigers. Like, where are they going to score many points? I don't know. Like, I know from like stats, apparently, like last time he played in the NRL, like he averaged like 50 at the Roosters, but that was like a Roosters team that was pretty weak. But I feel like you can't really read into that at all. Like, it's so long ago. He's obviously a far different player. You would assume a better player. So I mean, I am keen somewhat, because it would be annoying not to go him, and he just, he bangs out 60s, and, he scores really well, makes a lot of money, and then, the third of players have him and you don't, so you miss out on those price rises. So, yeah, I might just go him just to follow the herd a little bit, but I am sort of more keen on going sort of 2 more gun 5/8s, but we'll see. We'll see how the money shakes up at the end of the day. As we go down here, I'm honestly, Chanel Harris-Tavita, I'm somewhat keen on Harris-Tavita. He's actually a bit of a smoky maybe to goal kick, because he's actually a pretty good goal kicker. I love him as a player. He obviously missed a lot with injury. I would imagine he's going to be the starting 5/8 with Johnson. I love the combo. I'm pretty sure I would have talked about him a fair bit in the halfback discussion. I can't remember. But I do like Harris-Tavita, and I am keen. Dude, there's so many 5/8 options that I'm keen on. It's a nightmare. As we go down the list here, we get into the cheapies. Obviously, I got Ilias at halfback. I think that's probably the better spot for him. I feel like there's less options at halfback who are viable. I think there's a lot more value in the 5/8. So if you're gonna go Ilias, I would put him at halfback. But if you wanted to do something different, you could switch it up. As we go down here, the cheapies. Okay, so Azra Mum, we would have talked about him in the halfbacks. Again, he's a bottom dollar cheapie. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's, again, I guess that's why a lot of people are going with Jackson Hastings, is that there's not that many cheapie options that are actually going to play any minutes. The only guy really is Ilias, but most people are going to get him at halfback. So you're sort of stuffed. Then you go up to the next. It's basically 300k for actually guys that are gonna make any sort of money. So I can see the appeal. I can definitely see the appeal. Honestly, if Harris-Tavita is starting, I'd probably prefer Harris-Tavita over Hastings to begin with. But then I would probably rather go up to, someone like a Sean Johnson, Dylan Brown. But depending on money, it is tight, and there's a lot of players you want. So it's a tough one for now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put Harris-Tavita there for now, just as a placeholder. I don't think I'm gonna have the balls to go with him, but I do like him a lot. We'll see how the money shakes up. So that's the 5/8 discussion. A lot of good options. I'll go through sort of just briefly. So Munster I'm very keen on, but I can't see myself, unless I don't go with Grant. I think I might start with Munster. Shustra, obviously I'm keen on, very keen on. Kelly, we've got him at halfback, very keen on. Luai, I'm also very keen on. Luai, Brown, Johnson, and Harris-Tavita, and I guess Hastings as well. I'll see how the trial form is and see how he's going potentially, but yeah, I don't know, a little bit against the crowd on this one maybe. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the Supercoach videos. A lot of fun to make every time. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.